We are not talking about the Rosanna shuffle, the Purdie shuffle, or the Fool in the Rain shuffle today, so if that's what you're looking for, you can turn off the video. Instead, I'm covering a more fundamental, foundational, generic halftime shuffle groove that you can first learn and then take to learn those other specific songs. Hey everybody, welcome to The Non-Glamorous Drummer. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's jump over to the kit and learn a halftime shuffle. Why are you not talking about the Rosanna shuffle today, you might ask? Because that would be dumb. Jeff Porcaro himself has a video from back in the day right here on YouTube that I'll link below, him teaching exactly how he plays the Rosanna shuffle, so there's no better person to learn it from. But the reason why we're not talking about specific shuffles today is because I believe that when you learn the core, bare bones, basics, the foundation of a type of groove, then from there you can better learn to improvise on it, be creative with it, and then learn the other specific versions as you like afterwards. I like to give you basic things that you can then take on your own and run with to do whatever you want to. By the way, there is a PDF with notation of what we're doing today. I've got the groove notated nicely, so if you're a more visual learner, you can check that out. And the first thing we're going to do is play the hi-hat pattern. And it's important as you're practicing the hi-hat pattern that you're not closing the hats too tightly. You can hear the difference here if I play it with the hats closed really tight. You start to get that annoying hum and buzz from the hats because they're just too choked out. That sounds awful, but if we loosen them just a little bit, it extends the note length a little bit, thickens it a little bit. We don't want it too thick and too gushy, but we also don't want it super tight. So make sure you've got the hats closed, but you're not pressing too much weight into them. So let's take that hi-hat pattern and then let's add in the kick on 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4. Now, by the way, I'm calling this a halftime shuffle because that's kind of what it's known as, but it's not. I don't have it notated as a halftime shuffle. I have it notated as 16th note triplets here that we're actually playing. And so we're still putting the kick on 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4. So for those of you music theory nerds who are like, what are you talking about? That's not halftime. You'll get it. It's fine. You'll be fine. And really the most important thing with that step is just making sure you're still maintaining the smoothness of the hi-hat. You're not sacrificing the hi-hat sound even as you're adding in these other components. Now let's take away the kick, and actually let's even take away the backbeats, and let's talk about the snare ghosting that we want to add in to fill in the spaces between the hi-hat. This is something that's definitely happening in the Rosanna shuffle, and it's something that makes any halftime shuffle sound really cool. But that's where we've got, you know, this triplet missing the middle triplet patterns going on here on the hi-hat. Well, let's fill in that space with a note here on the snare. And we want to make sure that's smooth, and so you've got to practice that as slow as you need to just to make sure. And it helps if you focus your ear on what your right hand's doing, otherwise your brain can start to turn it around and do weird stuff with it. So still make sure, remember throughout all of this, make sure that you're not sacrificing, not compromising the quality of the hi-hat pattern and that feel and that sound as you're adding in the snare ghosting. And playing the snare ghosting as ghost notes very quietly helps a lot too. So let's play that at 60 beats a minute. I also like playing that fairly quietly, like not going crazy loud on the hi-hat, just keeping it really chill. There's no need to go loud yet. So now let's keep that hand pattern going on, but let's add in the backbeat. So this can get a little bit weird because we've got a backbeat followed by a ghost note. And so that's where we have to utilize the technique that we learn in practicing doubles, where instead of letting the stick rebound, we're going choking it back down so we can play a quiet note right after. Really, that technique in and of itself, we can make several videos on just expounding The word expounding that topic and really going in depth there. For now, just to sum it up, practice going, squeezing the stick, not letting it bounce, so then you can play that ghost after. So that, you might want to go even slower than 60, but as quickly as you can kind of work it up to about 60, do so you can get that feel going. And of course, make sure you don't rush that backbeat. It's also easy to go, which destroys the feel. If anything, you want to lay it back. So make sure that backbeat isn't rushing, that things are just staying smooth. So practice those motions as slowly as you need to. So, okay, we're already 4 steps in. Hopefully I've been counting right and I've got it all correct here on my outline. So we've done 4 steps, and at this point we're ready to add everything together because the only thing we've left out now is the kick. So let's add the kick back in on 1 and 3, keeping this hand pattern going. And so at this point, you've got a basic halftime shuffle going on. It doesn't matter that it's a lot slower than Rosanna. It doesn't matter that we're only playing 2 notes on the kick drum per measure. You've got the basics down. So practice this over and over again. Just set your metronome to 60, even 55, however slow you need to go to get it smooth. Make sure it's not rushing. And just play it over and over again until you get more and more comfortable. Then you can gradually bring the tempo up. I think it starts to feel pretty cool around 70. We'll go up to 70. And it's also great, and again, as you're practicing it slowly, to start adding in different sorts of improvisation with your right foot. And so you get the idea where you can go with this. And so you can really get creative with adding in different kick stuff. What's hard is making the kick lock with the hand pattern. That really is tricky, and you got to do it slow. I still need to work on that. That's still something I feel like challenges me a ton. Every time I sit down and I play this, I really have to focus on keeping things clean and precise, especially if I'm doing like a... If I'm doing anything with like those triplets leading into a backbeat and they've got to lock together with the ghost notes, that stuff's hard. It's not easy, it doesn't happen overnight, but be patient, practice these things slowly, and you can go from there into other random patterns, locking your right hand with your right foot. Very paradiddle-esque actually, and if you practice your paradiddles, you can kind of use that in the midst of a shuffle groove, and it creates really cool funky fills. And so that's something I also think is practical if you're playing a groove like that and you want to go into a weird kind of funk fill that isn't just... So you can get really creative with that. So I encourage you, follow these steps, practice this with a metronome very slowly, be patient, gradually work it up. This thing has been a work in progress for me for a long time. I remember like a year and a half ago, I decided I'm gonna hunker down and work on my halftime shuffle. And so I've gradually been working on it. It's gradually gotten better and better. I've still got work to do, and there's so much more I wanna do with it and be able to play it even cleaner and get the hi-hat sounding even better. Go listen to Jeff Porcaro play it, and go listen to the Rosanna shuffle. Check out the video of him teaching it, because that is definitely a standard of perfection that we can all work on trying to achieve. And so check out the shuffles that I've talked about: Purdie shuffle, Fool in the Rain shuffle, Rosanna, etc. But take these basics and run with them, and go check out songs that have shuffles in them and practice these and have a lot of fun with it. Hey, I really hope this video helped you out. This was more of a drum lesson kind of video, breaking something down step by step, and I hope that it helped you start to get a halftime shuffle together, because I really do believe you can take this and then run with it and do a lot of other cool stuff with it. So if it helped you out and you're new to the channel, I hope you'll subscribe. I hope that you'll share the video. Either way, thanks guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.